All right, welcome friends, family, neighbors, workout partners, Bible studiers, whatever is your reason for watching today, welcome. We are in a study in the book of Isaiah. Isaiah was a great Old Testament prophet. He had lots to say about the past, even a little insight to what happened before creation. Just as a little side note, I hear every now and then I listen to intelligent men. I don't want to short sight them. They talk about the Big Bang Theory. And I don't want to dispute their claim, except that God was the Big Bang. He started this all in motion in the universe that we see now. There is even some good theologians, good Bible teachers that believe that there was possibly even a creation before this, where there was different laws, different rules of nature. But we really can't go down that road because we don't have proof. We don't have facts. Very much like men try to debate what happened here on earth, a billion years ago, which they can't. It's ridiculous. And so we don't want to debate things that we can't debate because we don't have facts. But we can debate to the point of creation because God is the Big Bang. He is the Big Bang. He's what made it happen. He's like, bang, because I said it's good and it's going to happen. Bang, there's your Big Bang right there. And Isaiah talks a little bit up to that time, even very possibly before that, slightly during certain sections in Isaiah. Isaiah was a good man. He was a great prophet. That's why we're studying him. We are currently in Isaiah 41. We're going to talk about a lot. Isaiah has a lot of ground to cover. And that's why this study in the book of Isaiah has taken a really long time. Because sometimes you have to chew on just one chapter for a really long time before you can kind of digest it. And you ain't going to get all of it. You're going to get just a little bit of it. And Bear Paw can only grasp so much truth and hang on to it. So while I'm hanging on to it, I'm going to kind of let out a little bit of knowledge to the best of my ability to you folks, you beautiful folks out there. So with all that being said, let us pick up in Isaiah chapter 41. Keep silence before me, O islands, and let the people renew their strength. Let them come near, then let them speak. Let us come near together to judgment. Who raised up the righteous man from the east and called him to his foot, gave the nations before him and made him rule over kings? He gave them as the dust to his sword and as driven stubble to his bow. He pursued them and passed safely, even by the way that he had not gone with his feet. Who hath wrought and done it, calling the generations from the beginning? I, the Lord, the first, and with the last, I am he. In verse 4, we have a little understanding that God has always been. He's the only one that can answer the, let's say, the scientists that say, a billion years ago, the earth was formed from monkey bones, They can say stuff like that, and people, the intelligentsia, have to swallow it because if you rock the boat, they might shun you, from their intelligentsia clubs. But they have no proof of that, of what happened to the earth. They don't even know what happened in their own lives barely 100 years ago, with their father and their ancestry. They don't really know what happened. Now you track it back 1,000 years, even less, 2,000 years, 10,000 years. You're talking, there's a vacuum of knowledge and information that we just don't have. But we know God is there, and we know God created all this. God speaks to us. He's set this all in motion. And he declares to you, those who you are, scientists, perhaps some of you are skeptics, some of you are just regular Christians, some of you are maybe non-believers, some of you possibly atheists. Why you tune in, I don't know. Perhaps you're curious. But this is your answer why you are here. You are here for God's pleasure, whether you like it or not. God has always been. He's been there from the beginning. He put all these things, planets, molecules. He's created all of them spinning, and he's created you to be something special in that great dynamic. And so I will implore you to be a part of the God-designed dynamic, because that's why he created you, to be a part of that. You may not now believe him. One day you will. It's better that you believe now than later. So I will encourage you, believe God when he says he has always been there. He's been in the past, he's in the present, and he will be in the future, and he has a plan for you. Accept that, receive that, and call upon him. And he will make you a part of that great dynamic. Because he loves you, and because he wants you to be there in that great dynamic. But he won't force you to. You must choose. And if you don't make a choice, you've already chosen. Let's continue, verse 5. The isles saw it and feared. The ends of the earth were afraid, drew near and came. They helped every one his neighbor, and every one said to his brother, "Be of good courage." So the carpenter encouraged the goldsmith, and he that smoothed with the hammer, him that smote with the anvil, saying, "It is ready for the soldering." And he fastened it with nails, that it should not be moved. But thou, Israel, art my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend. Thou, whom I have taken from the ends of the earth, and called thee from the chief men thereof, and said unto thee, Thou art my servant, and I have chosen thee, and not cast thee away. God makes a slight declaration of the idolatry that was going on during that time, where men took steel, bent it, formed it, shaped it, welded it, soldered it, and made it into a little image. They prayed to it. They took wood, they carved it. They took rocks, they chiseled it, made themselves gods. But Israel, God has revealed himself to them to be the living and true God, and not to adhere to any of the false religions and false worship of the world. Verse 10. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen, yea, I will help thee. Yea, I uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. There's something about giving somebody your right hand. If you're left-handed, for you, maybe it's your left hand. But the hand that's your most important hand, that you, when something falls, maybe a cup of coffee falls off the shelf, what do you grab for? Oh, your left hand or your right hand? Your most important hand. That's what you reach out to your friends to shake their hand with. The right hand of God's righteousness. He will reach out to them, to Israel, to those who are his people, Israel and non-Israel. Behold, all they that were incensed against thee shall be ashamed and confounded. They shall be as nothing, and they shall strive with thee. And they that strive with thee shall perish. Thou shalt seek them, and shalt not find them, even them that contended with thee. They that war against thee shall be as nothing, and as a thing of naught. We don't say that very much in our country, not. Basically, something that is irrelevant, something that is insignificant, something that is vaporized. For I, the Lord thy God, will hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, Fear not, I will help thee. Fear not, thou worm Jacob, and ye men of Israel, I will help thee, saith the Lord, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. Behold, I will make thee a new sharp threshing instrument, having teeth. Thou shalt thresh the mountains, and beat them small, and shalt make the hills as chaff. Thou shalt fan them, and the wind shall carry them away, and the whirlwind shall scatter them, and thou shalt rejoice in the Lord, and shalt glory in the Holy One of Israel. When the poor and the needy seek water, and there is none, and their tongue faileth for thirst, I, the Lord, will hear them. I, the God of Israel, will not forsake them. I will open rivers in high places, and fountains in the midst of the valleys. I will make the wilderness a pool of water, and the dry land springs of water. I will plant in the wilderness the cedar, the shittah tree, and the myrtle, and the oil tree I will set in the desert, the fir tree and the pine, the box tree together, that they may see and know and consider and understand together that the hand of the Lord has done this, and the Holy One of Israel has created it. God in ages past made the land of Canaan, the land of Israel, something to be sought after, something to be envied. Today, we see the Arab peoples hate Israel for the sake of hating. If you're Arab, don't take offense at that. The obvious is true. And most of the Arab culture is very much ensnared with a false ism of a religion. They're very much trapped with its bondage, and that bondage makes them hate Israel. It is one of the greatest hatreds on earth, to hate God's people. Strangely enough, the offspring of Israel is Christianity. Christianity is what Israel should be. Israel should be the Christian nation that the world looks to, that is the guiding light. Not really the United States. The United States is sometimes considered that guiding light. I don't know that it is. But there is a strong influence of Christianity in the United States still. There's a small sector of it, and there's very much more, garbage and schmutt. But there is still some representation of salt and light in the United States. And Christianity has created that, because Christianity is really not a religion. Christianity is a person. That person is Jesus Christ. So Christianity really is people spread all over the world, which is a great nation of God. Now, I don't believe in replacing Israel with Christianity, because God is going to deal with Israel in the end times. Whether you believe the replacement theology and all that or not, God is going to deal with Israel in the end days. He's going to deal with them. We as Christians are going to look at that from a distance, probably from the heavens, the New Jerusalem, the marriage supper of the Lamb. We're going to look down upon the earth as God deals with Israel, to chasten them and yet to gather them, to bring them unto the truth. They will have to go through a great difficulty. And yet at great times in history, God has blessed Israel with very lush and rich soil. Fields that are multiplied in what they should produce. Trees, fruit, olives, wheat. They were like the land that all the nations around them wished they could have. And that's what made many of the nations hate Israel. And yet, God continues to bless them. Even in their rebellion, God blesses Israel. Let's move along. Verse 21. Produce your cause, saith the Lord. Bring forth your strong reasons, saith the King of Jacob. Let them bring them forth and show us what shall happen. Let them show the former things, what they be, that we may consider them, and know the later end of them, and declare to us for to come. Here's God speaking to the skeptics of that day, who said, we have the knowledge of God. We have the knowledge of what happened before. We don't need God's, Yahweh's, insight interjecting onto our land, on our peoples. And God is declaring to them, do something that resembles a God, so that we can see your great power. God has a humor. God has a great humor. And sometimes that humor trickles down to us. And we can see the humor in a sarcastic way that God spreads forth for man that is arrogant. Verse 23. Show the things that are to come hereafter, that we may know that ye are gods. Yea, do good or do evil, that we may be dismayed, and behold it together. Behold, ye are of nothing, and your work is of naught. An abomination is he that chooseth you. I have raised up one from the north, and he shall come from the rising of the sun, and shall call upon my name, and he shall come upon princes as upon mortar, and as the potter treadeth the clay. God had a great destroying nation that came against Israel. More than one, actually. Probably the greatest being Babylon. Babylon being the head of gold. In the book of Daniel, the great statue. The great Babylon. The hanging gardens, the walls around the city that had chariot races. The city was magnificent. Nebuchadnezzar becoming a believer in Yahweh and God in heaven. Through difficulties, and yet he did. And God brought him upon Israel to judge Israel. He came upon Israel as upon mortar, and as a potter treadeth the clay. Verse 26. Who hath declared from the beginning, that we may know, and before time that we may say, he is righteous? Yea, there is none that showeth, yea, there is none that declareth, yea, there is none that heareth your words. The first shall say to Zion, behold, behold them, and I will give to Jerusalem one that bringeth good tidings. For I beheld, and there was no man, even among them there was no counselor that when I asked of them could answer a word. Job had that problem. He thought, I understand these things that are going on in my life. Job's counselors, Job was found clean in all that he said. So whatever he said was okay. Job's counselors, on the other hand, required a sacrifice and prayer by Job for them, so God didn't destroy them because of their evil counsel. And yet, nobody can counsel God. And when God works around you, or in your life, or somebody else's life, and you're not happy with it, that's your problem. not God's. Because what God makes to happen or allows to happen, that's the way he's allowed it to happen. And your only resolve in the matter is to accept it. Not to be mad about it, just to accept it. Because you cannot counsel God. He will always be the winner. Verse 29. Behold, they are all vanity. Their works are nothing. Their molten images are wind and confusion. Sometimes Bear Paw and the little lady will go visit a little restaurant, and sometimes the little restaurant will have little statues and stuff. I don't really care what they do. They're just that to me, little pagan statues. I feel sorry for them, but we enjoy their food, and we see the little false idols around, and we notice the sadness in the restaurant owners and the people that serve those pagan gods. There's sadness. There's no joy, because joy comes in the Lord. The joy is everlasting. Not like a sporting event where people are hooting and hollering and maybe your team wins or maybe your team loses and all that, the paparazzi and all that. That's not joy. That's fleeting. That's fleeting happiness for the moment that you'll forget about in a week or a day or an hour. But joy in the Lord, that lasts forever. And that's the joy I want, and I hope that's the joy that you want. So, if you've learned anything from this little study, and yeah, we're about done here. We've successfully finished up Isaiah 41. Next time we'll try to tackle chapter 42. We are 20 some chapters away from finishing up the book of Isaiah, and we have lots and lots and lots of interesting and heavy material to cover. And we're covering it little by little, best that we can do. But if you've learned anything in today's study, realize you can never counsel your Creator. Let Him counsel you, and then accept the results. Cry out for His mercy and His forgiveness, and give Him what He deserves, because He's your Creator, He's my Creator. Give Him the worship and the thanksgiving that He deserves, and you will be blessed for it. God bless you, my friend. Until next time, from Bear Paw, the Bears Gym, and my little mascot there, which he's kind of asleep. I thought he was going to do a little show for us, but he's quite asleep and happy. So he's happy to be in the Bears Gym. I'm happy to be in the Bears Gym, and I hope you are happy to be in the Bears Gym. So until next time, God bless.